Hello, and welcome to an episode of Todd Talks, and Todd Talks people listen. Hopefully. And man, what a death battle we just had, didn't we? So yes, we are here to talk about the death battle for the boys. Kidding. Winter Soldier versus Red Hood, which just happened. It was the second ever live action death battle from East Mahawk. Great job, guys. And I must say, wow again. And oh yeah, I won. So yeah, I was worried at times, especially after I had some new information brought to me by some wonderful commenters like you. But yes, Winter Soldier did pull it out, so my winning streak is intact. Still only one loss for this season, which might change next episode, and I'm very, very happy. So let's just break it down. I was very happy with how certain things were displayed here, like mainly I'm a big fan of the histories of certain characters, and I liked how they talked about how Jason Todd got killed off by the fans, uh, even though I did it in more detail. Just saying. But no, the breakdowns were really good. I honestly didn't know about the Venom. The wikis that I looked up didn't mention the Venom anywhere. And it was a commenter who noted that in the more recent Outlaws comic, which from a DC Rebirth, that he had Venom that he used. And I saw it like once, I believe, when it was about breaking the Supergirl's grip, but even Death Battle noted that wasn't exactly a good telltale. And I wouldn't have factor that in too much because Venom is strong, but Batman beats Bane all the time, and Bucky's gone up against super powered beings and also won. So that wasn't a bad. That wasn't a big blow, but it did worry me a little bit because Venom it's Venom. So also love the symbiote line. It's like, what's the symbiote doing here? No, the other Venom. So then there was the all swords, which is another thing that the commenter brought up. I didn't know about those, but again, it didn't really factor in because Bucky's not pure evil, at least not anymore. So that I'm glad that didn't factor in because that could have been bad, but thankfully it didn't happen. So, but everything was good. Let's just get to the battle because the battle was really fun. All right, Eastmal Hawk. I mean, I know that Nightwing, Daredevil was good in its own right, especially with the music, which was so good. But this was their magnum opus, for now at least. And because if you timed it, this was a 6:30 fight. All right, it started like almost right at 4, or like it was like 13:30, and it ended like right at 20ish. So yeah, this was over a 6-minute live action fight. And yes, there was some obviously the build up, like with the Batman call, which that guy, had to look up his name because I really thought they had gotten Kevin Conroy for a second because he sounds exactly like Kevin Conroy from, of course, Batman animated series, the Arkham games, and everything. That was a perfect way to start it out. And yeah, there was a little bit of a slow build, but you need that. But once they got into the fight, it was so good. I mean, there were references everywhere. There were I love the Joker section with the crowbar because of course Jason would have that because that is totally his character. He still fears that crowbar even though he has one in his arsenal. And the way they use the Winter Soldier arm, if you looked hard enough, you'll recognize the wing ding from the Nightwing fight. Yeah, that was what Jason threw into the metal arm. So that was a nice little reference to the previous fight. Um, the Venom usage, I didn't realize it at the time when I saw the preview, but he had the Venom on him the whole time, which was another great thing. I like that he said sorry, Bruce, before doing it because he knows Bruce doesn't like the Venom, even though Batman used Venom in a very famous storyline, but that's another tale. So there was just a lot of good stuff with the camera angles. There was references to the MCU, like with the knife plunge via the metal arm. That was a great shot. There was a few camera jumps I wish they had just stuck with the action for, but when you're trying to showcase these two great characters, sometimes a camera jump can be good. But this was very back and forth, and I like that Jason talked a lot, but Bucky barely said a word. Like if you really note, his first word is "huh" when the venom happens. I'm like, that's Bucky. Why would he talk during the fight? I mean, look at the Winter Soldier movie. He didn't talk until He's like, who the heck is Bucky? That was a good thing right there. Um, small, small thing. I didn't like the death, and I know part of this is because of um, it's live action, so you can only do it certain ways, and maybe they didn't want to get too gory. But this is now the second time that the death was a bit subpar. Because if you remember, the Nightwing one was he did the charged up super punch, which I guess broke Daredevil's neck, and then Bucky just crushed his skull. It was so quick. I honestly thought that he just broke the helmet. I mean, like that's how it was framed because it was far away and he just did. And yes, I know that Jason's mask at the time was already broken, but I don't know, it's a small thing I know, but especially in Death Battle, the death matters. I mean, it's called Death Battle, but still, outside of that, it was a really great fight. I totally am looking forward to the next one, hopefully next season, and fingers crossed because the East Mohawk clearly uh, they're just so good. They really love what they do. Also, fun fact, last night the head of East Mohawk, Danny Shepard, made a tweet about the battle, and I uh, replied to him and noted that the I had had a kind of a rough weekend and that I was really looking for the death battle because I knew it would knock my socks off. Socks are still on, but still. Um, and the actor behind Red Hood found the tweet and he responded to me. He goes, "This guy knows what's up." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I got to represent the Todd clan when I can." And yes, I know I picked Winter Soldier, but I didn't tell him that. So that was a nice, cool moment. But yeah, so I'm glad Winter Soldier won. This was a great battle, a highlight of the season. I'm actually I'm gonna watch it again a little bit later, but I'm pretty sure I'm definitely gonna put this in my top 5 of the season so far, which is becoming ever so crowded. So let's see how this season continues on. Which brings us to the next death battle, which is actually already revealed via RTX, which they had a wonderful panel at RTX. But it is going to be Venom, the symbiote, versus Corona from Soul Eater, who was apparently in the season 7 teaser. I honestly didn't see that frame, but it doesn't matter. So I know nothing about Soul Eater. I even asked an anime friend of mine about him, Soul Eater, and they couldn't get into the anime for one reason or another. So they don't know much. So I'm really gonna have to research this one because I count Bane versus Venom as one of my worst cases of Todd Talk because I totally fanboyed and just went Bane, and I even did the Tom Hardy impersonation, who of course is now Venom. So irony, but I need to redeem myself. So I'm not saying I'm going to pick Venom, but I'm going to make sure I rewatch that video and then study as much about Soul Eater as I can, so I do not make the same mistake. Because if the symbiote wins, I'm going to pick him. All right. And I barely made it through the last one with Carnage because I almost picked Carnage, but I picked Lucy because of certain feats that I honestly did the math for. Still very proud of that. See, so the Venom episode I did terrible in and I hate it, but the Carnage episode I pushed myself and I picked correctly and I'm proud of myself. So I've got to make sure I lean towards the Carnage way. But who says that anymore? I need to lean towards Carnage. But yes, so Venom versus Corona. It's going to be an interesting one. It is confirmed 2D death battles. So where the heck is the 3D death battles? But for now, we'll put that to the side and we'll see how that goes. So with that, I'm ending this episode of Todd Talk. What did you think of Winter Soldier versus Red Hood? What did you think of the live action battle? How it was shot, the costumes, everything. Let me know everything you loved about this battle. What do you think about Venom versus Corona? Let me know in the comments below. So I thank you for watching. If you made it far, I know you were listening, and I'll see you around.